welcome to Morning Coffee with Bazan Academy. I'm Deanna, and today is Great Books Monday. I wanted to share an experience with you that was quite surprising about a book that I read recently for our middle school curriculum. Now, this is a book in a genre I wouldn't normally pick up, as I'm not the biggest fan of Westerns.
Dumpy, get out of there. No, come on, I got a front seat. It's a good one.
I remember growing up as a kid that I would watch Westerns with my mom and my dad and all the great John Wayne, and I would watch them with them, but I never really truly got into it. I remember watching reruns of Bonanza, and it just wasn't my thing, which is perfectly fine. We don't all have to like the same things. But this book, Shane, that I read for our middle school curriculum, I picked up because it's one of my husband's favorite books. And since we deal with heroes in middle school, he thought that this would be a perfect fit. So I read the novel, and wow, I was blown away completely.
You ready?
Let her go.
It was very well written, it was captivating, and it wasn't just about, men out on the open range.
James, this is mighty fine chow. One of these days you're going to be as good a cook as Ma.
Well, I'm learning, trying.
This was about homesteaders and the battle that ensued between them and the cattle rangers. And it was just a beautiful story about this family and this stranger, Shane, who comes into their life. The homesteaders that were there in this time period were there to settle the land.
You gotta pick your spot. Get your land, your own land. The hogs and milk, well, you make that all right.
They wanted to make it productive. They wanted to create farms, create crops, and to have a civilization in this wide open territory. Now, the cattle rangers, they wanted to run their cattle throughout the plains without having anyone have any sort of ownership of the land.
I came to inform you. I got that beef contract for the reservation.
Did it take this many of you to tell me that?
I mean business.
Then you tend to your own.
That's just what I'm doing. I'm telling you now, I'm gonna need all my range.
Now that you've won me, would you mind getting off my place?
Your place. You're gonna have to get out before the snow flies.
And supposing I don't?
You and the other squatters.
Homesteaders, you mean, don't you?
When the homesteaders came in, and they were encouraged to do so with land grants from the government if they would live there and if they would make the land more productive. Well, they tended to settle near rivers and streams where there were water that they could use for their crops. And this is where the conflict ensues. Now, this novel is based on an actual conflict that happened in Wyoming in Johnson County, and there are some really interesting historical accounts of this. The author, Jack Schaefer, would have known about this and used it loosely for this novel. Now, what appealed to me so much is that, first off, it was very well written. I would deem it a classic. It transcends the genre. It tells the story of what was going on in the West, but he does it in a way that anyone can relate. We can identify with the characters, and it does it in such an excellent way. The writing, the moral certainty of the characters, and it is absolutely heroic. You really buy into this challenge that's going on, and you have your favorites, and you really don't like those villains.
Prove it.
And it's something that, like Harry Potter, you really just get wrapped up into this universe. And I love being swept away. And I never would have guessed that a Western could have done that for me. So I hope that you pick up this book. I was brought to tears by the end of reading the novel. It was just powerful, I guess, is the best word I can describe in this experience that I had. Now, when you are looking for a new book to read, maybe go beyond what you would normally pick. Kind of play with those expectations that you have. I know I will be doing that a lot more. So what I've learned is that you can't judge a book by its genre. Like Harry Potter, which I didn't read for a long time, maybe we need to rethink what we see as great when we're looking at books to read. And particularly, there are classics lying out there that we never may have picked up. And there are classics that we may have read that are in that classic literature section in the bookstore that you're starting to wonder, why is that a classic? So it's kind of fun to play with expectations. Now, I'm going to go find another book that I normally would not have picked up and see where it brings me. I hope you do the same. Make sure you sign up for our mailing list. We have some fun things that'll be hitting your inbox a few times a week. And we also have our Facebook and Instagram all in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.